Hello, this is the GridFly demonstration, and what we have here is an HTML web page. On the right is the editor panel. On the left is the actual results panel. So the left component is an iframe. So what you actually see is an iframe using CSS. There's a 3D perspective effect, but that's not important here. It's just for the sake of explaining the demo. What matters is that you have a web page on the left side. That's a blank web page where we expect to see the results. So the first part of the demonstration is the editor. I'm going to use this as a precursor for a kind of what you see is what you get widget. But basically, the precursor lets you edit at the web page and create boxes. Here we are. I'm creating 4 quadrants. You can create boxes in any way, but there's one requirement here, is that you cannot leave empty spaces at this point, and you also cannot repeat the same boxes in different regions. For instance, you cannot have a queue box, and a queue box far away. This is a very simple 4 quadrants layout, and it's also important to say, which is this aspect is highlighted in the paper, that this is a 2-dimensional layout, which is easy to understand for end users and also for developers. When we click on generate, the button on the left, what you see there's basically nothing much changed, but basically we have certain container elements created. But this is not a table. On the left you have a table-less grid-based layout, which uses nested divs, or the actual expected hierarchical form which developers are using, and it's up to the modern expectations in terms of development techniques. And you also have here, this is in this demonstration we're doing everything step by step, so it's clear for you. What you have here are instructions for a JavaScript element that is going to insert widgets within the divs, which is a very simple operation. But basically, I'm gonna add a directive here with a few pointers. The default pointer here in terms of the target widgets is basically a default text, and I'm gonna replace some of the URLs so we have more meaningful demonstration. And here's one URL that I want. I want the W and the E widgets using the default, and the widgets on the bottom right side are using a clock widget, which is something I took from this developer warp design at the Mozilla demos directory. Basically widgets. And now I'm going to click on generate. It's basically a very simple insertion that happens there. My URL on the left is wrong, so let's do it again. Alright, so what we have is widgets on the right, a clock, the default widget container, a basic web page, and some more complex animation-based widgets on the left, which uses zoom effects and fades and other things.
Turn a TV appliance into something new. It's Telesocial.
Turn off my audio
Digital
here,
signage for people.
That it's being played
Telesocial is a communication solution
and
that
that's
supports
the
local
idea
events.
Here, is that we can
It
have
brings
a
web
2D
content from
layout
social networks
editor
and
that
real-time
generates
data that is relevant to your
table-less
event.
design.
with custom
very simple
designs
four
and
quadrants
flexible content
demonstrations,
modules.
easy, and any
Our
developer
technology uses
new
open standards plus an
developer
open
can
source
do.
Linux
But
stack.
there are also complex designs
At
where you can
each
make
terminal,
it. So anything you actually try to edit here, even it doesn't have to be like follow square like the quadrants demonstration. So this is a more complex case. If you do this and you generate, you have all the elements in there. And if we select that iframe component and if we see the selection source, we actually get here the actual grid-based layout, which is basically comprised of many divs nested, one within the other. And this is the way that developers are doing now because it conforms with the modern requirements. The very basic idea here of grid layouts and table-less layouts is that you have to cluster everything, right? So in this case, for instance, we're clustering the two columns here first for key E, R, and T, and key E, R, and T. Another cluster, a div on the right, has W and Y inside, but if you take isolated in if we look at the cluster on the left, which contains key E, R, T, and then this cluster has two clusters inside rows. Q, another cluster, has ERT inside. If you analyze the bottom cluster on the left, which is ERT, you have two clusters, one on the left, E and T, and one on the right, R. If you analyze the cluster on the left at the bottom end of the bottom left side, you have the cluster with two rows, E and T. So that's the way basically when I provide this walk through, you actually get an idea on how the parsing works, which is basically clusterizing this two-dimensional model, which allows us to create a hierarchical view, which is a what you see, precursor to a kind of a what you see is what you get editor for table-less layouts. Thank you.